Hey everyone, Eric here. In this video, we're talking about wiring harnesses, and specifically this one that I just got from Gunstreet Wiring Shop. We're going to go over what they are and how easy they are to install and why you might want to install them. So stick around. This wiring harness right here is for my jazz bass. I'm going to hold it like a violin to demonstrate. This potentiometer for the tone. Usually there's a volume tone. What happened was this tone knob stopped working and it would make the bass intermittent. So what I've actually done temporarily is just taken this tone knob out of the circuit completely. So I talked to Sean over at Gunstreet Wiring Shop. We've done a couple other videos here on the channel. I'll link them up in the cards because I've made a couple videos for his SG harnesses and I really like them. He also does custom work too, so I asked him, do you have any ideas? Because I had seen a video on YouTube, I think, or maybe I was listening, there we go. I was listening to Sean's recent interview on the Tone Jerks podcast, and he was talking about how in a lot of his harnesses he can do a series parallel switch for single coils where you can, generally they're run in parallel, I think. It starts over here, and then the signal goes through two coils right here, and then it goes to the output. That's parallel, so the signal is going through both of them at the same time. And what we've actually done is he's put it on a switch here, a series parallel. So that was parallel, so two coils at the same time. A series is where you run through one coil, input signal, goes through the first coil, then out of the first coil, into the second coil, and then to the output jack. So I think it makes it louder, makes it a bit fuller sounding. I'm not exactly sure, but I thought it sounded cool, so I asked Sean to do that for me. Sean sends a diagram with all of his harnesses. He also wrote that he is sorry for the delay, even though I think he shipped this out in 2, 3, 4 days maybe? And it's a custom order. It's a custom order, yeah. So Sean, it's okay. No worries at all. Yeah, so it looks like we're gonna run the neck into the neck volume, but then the bridge goes into this switch down here. And that's pretty much it. We do have a ground up here, but that's already in the base. So all I'll have to do is detach that ground and then solder it to this. So it looks like I only have to make about 5 solder joints, which is pretty crazy in a good way. This video is not sponsored in any way by Gunstreet. I ordered this from them and I paid for it. Sean doesn't even know that I'm making this video. That's the dog. But I just wanted to share with you how easy it is to install a harness and what you can expect when you order a harness like this from Gunstreet or any of the other companies that sell them. So you might be asking, why would you want to install a wiring harness in your guitar or bass? The stock wiring's fine. In a lot of cases, yes, the stock wiring is totally fine and operable. But in my case, the pot actually failed on me. There can be mechanical failures in guitar electronics. And then on top of that, in more affordable guitars, they can really skimp out on the cost of production and use cheaper parts that aren't as high quality. So with a harness like this, you're getting great quality parts that are going to last a long time. Lastly, and probably most importantly, is that you can introduce new sounds into an instrument that you've had for, even years. Like my jazz bass. I've had this since, I think 2001 or 2 maybe. With this harness, I'm going to be able to access a new sound completely from my bass that I've had for years. I'm going to go ahead and install this wiring harness in my bass. Like I said, it's going to be super straightforward, especially because you get a diagram. A diagram. So let's go ahead and install this harness in my bass, and we'll come back, we'll see how it sounds, and I'm going to demonstrate that series parallel switch. Okay, so now that we have our licensed electrician and foreman of this project, we can start desoldering these and removing the wires from these pots so we can then install this harness. So we'll scoot him out of the way. Always use eye protection. This is my solder sucker. what you do is you heat it up and then you press that and it sucks the solder back up into this. Also, if you have a long enough wire, you can probably just cut it. But this wire in specific is fairly small and I'm not sure why. It looks like I might have wrapped it around to save length. There we go, just like that. So now the neck pickup's free. So this last one is the bridge ground for the bridge of the guitar. There's a little wire under it that grounds the strings and everything. There we go. The pot casing came unattached from the base of the pot, so like that's what went bad and caused my whole harness to stop acting normally. The neck pickup goes to the center lug. When you solder, you want to put the tip on one side of the component at the junction of the two things that you're going to solder, and then you want to flow the solder from the other side to make sure you get a good solder joint. Don't use too much solder because that gets messy and it can connect to other parts of the circuit that you don't want. Solder that. Soldering the bridge hot. You can see this is the bridge pickup ground right here. And then this is the ground that runs from under the bridge through the body and needs to be grounded to these pots right here. So these are really helpful. It's just got some alligator clips that you can, I adjusted it to where whenever I let go, I'm not touching anything. This bridge ground wire is sitting directly on where I want to solder, so it's not gonna move. And then I'm just gonna go for it. And again, this is just allowing me to position the wire to where when I don't have any hands on it, it's still sitting in the same spot that I want to solder it. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna screw this back in and we're done. We'll do some sound demos. So right now we're in the parallel mode, which is the normal jazz bass mode, where each knob right here, each volume knob controls one of these pickups. So now it's just the bridge pickup. And then I will turn the neck pickup and the bridge down, so now it's just the neck pickup. Now it's both pickups now. So now we've got a switch. Oh, there we go. We've got a switch on the tone knob. So in the normal mode, it's parallel. And then if we switch it, so we switch from parallel, which is both of these are independent, to series, which is where one of these runs into the other. I'm not exactly sure which one runs into the other, but you can see, you can tell easily. Parallel seems a bit brighter, but also if you play and you turn down one of the volumes, you don't get any signal because the other one is dependent on the other volume. So like if you turn down one of these coils, then they both go away. So there it was, super simple. I plugged it in. The first time I plugged it in, it worked. So I didn't have to do any troubleshooting. It was incredibly simple. If you want to check out Gunstreet Wiring Shop and all of their offerings, I'm going to leave a link in the description below so you can check out to see if they have models for your guitar or bass or any custom offerings they have. And if you don't find what you want, I really highly encourage you to go to their website and contact Sean directly. I want to know, have you ever changed or upgraded the wiring harness in your guitar or bass? And what did you choose? Did you choose a stock wiring harness from a company? Or did you opt for something custom? Or maybe even you designed it yourself and wired it yourself. So let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel, check out all the other gear demos and instructional videos I have here on the channel, And if you want to follow me on a daily basis and interact with me a little bit more, head on over to Instagram and follow me at Eric Merrow. And finally, I want to send a huge thank you to these folks right over here who are my executive producers for my Patreon page. If you would like to help support the channel and just keep it running, I'm going to leave a link to Patreon in the description below. And I thank you for checking that out. I thank all of these executive producers, and I thank you for watching this video. Have a good one.